Hey everyone, it is Tanya. Welcome back to the channel, or welcome if you are new here. Today I am back with another speed build, and this is actually going to be a pretty spacious family home in the new world of Ciudad Enamorada, which is the world that came with the Lovestruck expansion pack. I've built a few things in this world since this pack came out. We have a starter home, I created a house for a matchmaker, I also created a penthouse for some bachelors, but I have yet to create a family home, and I know Lovestruck is more so focused on the romance side of things, but I think this world is beautiful and I wanted to just have a really pretty family home here, and since I hadn't done that yet, I thought this was the perfect time to do so. So this house is actually strongly inspired by the architecture that I found in Mexico City, because if you didn't know, the world of Ciudad Enamorada is based loosely on Mexico City in the real world. So I went on and looked at a bunch of different houses on real estate websites and tried to get an idea of the exterior. I also got a little bit of inspiration for the interior, like the kitchen being placed closer to the front of the house. That's what I was seeing in a lot of references, and also some of the tiles that I used throughout, and the fact that I used the tile staircase that came with the Lovestruck expansion pack and things like that. But overall, I just wanted to feel creative and figure out the interior as it came to be and play around with different swatches like I usually do and just experiment. And I think the inside ends up being super cozy. It's a style I don't go for very often, but it was perfect for this world, and I use so many different packs in it, so I apologize for that. Actually, speaking of that, there is a massive sale going on right now on the EA app, so if there are any Sims packs you've been wanting to pick up, now is the time. And the sale goes through August 19th. And if you do decide to pick up anything, please consider using my creator code Gryphi at checkout. It doesn't cost you anything extra, it's just a way to support me as a creator, so thank you so much for considering, and thank you to EA for sponsoring this portion of the video. So the shape of the house has come together now, and I am starting to add some of the decorations I want on the outside, some of the things to make this space feel more realistic. So I have some electricity poles, I add a number to the house, we're getting our mailbox. I also really enjoyed the awnings that I put over the windows. Both those and the texture that I'm using on the roof are from the Jungle Adventure game pack. And I actually ended up using a lot of Jungle Adventure in this build. I think it is such a beautiful pack, and one that I'm always excited to use a bit of. Right now I am using some of these little fence pieces from Get Together Debug to create these flower beds. I saw something similar to this around the world, and there is one that came with the Show Live Edit Objects with Lovestruck, but I liked this one a little bit better, so that's what I ended up using, and just getting lots of flowers and stuff here as well. And I will actually be coming back to the front of the house towards the end of the build to add some more color, because the inside ends up being very colorful, but the outside right now is just very beige. I don't end up like changing the wall texture to be a bright color or anything like that, but I do add pops of color with some flowers and some other decorations out in the front of the yard. So you'll see that at the end of the video. I just wanted to leave the outside pretty generic and neutral to start, matching some of the buildings near this house. And then I decided it would make more sense to come back to it later once I figured out who was going to be living here and what sort of colors I was going to use on the inside. So I knew what sort of personality and what sort of design that these Sims would enjoy. So we'll get to that, but right now we are working on the floor plan. The kitchen is right off of the entryway, and then the living room is towards the back of the house. There also ends up being an office in this house, as well as the garage space, which I mostly use as extra storage. There are some fun things in there as well, and a couple of workout machines. We have a treadmill and the weight machine, both using the new ones from Lovestruck since we did get some new gym equipment. I didn't actually end up putting the free weights in there, which I've been using in most builds lately just because I'm excited to have that item, although I do really wish it was functional. But for some reason in this one I forgot to grab that, but that's okay. We are going to be starting on the kitchen decorating, and I did end up using these countertops and cabinets from Dream Home Decorator, and I'm actually going to be swapping out the tile in this room later on, both on the floor and what I use on the walls. So I just wanted to mention that because the color scheme I thought was really pretty, but it didn't end up fitting with the way the rest of the house was coming together, so I do end up swapping that out. This tile is present through a good chunk of the house, but the hallways, the hallway, the kitchen, and the bathrooms all have a different tile than the rest of the house. So that's what I ended up doing. This tile on the wall from Jungle Adventure is the one I end up keeping. I'm going to be changing it right now to a swatch that is very vibrant and yellow, which I think is very fun. But it didn't end up working the way I wanted it to. It felt like it was clashing a little bit later on, so I will change it back to the original one. I'm not sure if I show that on camera or not, but you'll see it in the screenshots, and I think it came out really cute. Over here, I am just adding some custom clutter to these shelves, which are from the For Rent expansion pack. I love them. I love the little plant on there. I really wish we had that as its own item, but I just thought adding a couple of extra pieces on here would be nice to make it feel a little bit more custom with these like little pots. I also really love the painting I put up above there. That is from the new pack as well, and it ends up being in this house a couple of times. In that swatch in particular, it's in here and then in the primary bedroom, but I use other swatches of it in other parts of the house. I just think it's a really nice piece, and it's always a welcome addition to have more artwork in The Sims, since I feel like that's something we're always lacking because it looks so silly when you're using the same painting in every house, in every room. So I feel like we can never have enough of them. So I was very excited about that. And yeah, I'm just getting some more clutter over here in the corner. We have the new fruit bowl. I grabbed some dishes over here in a trash can, and then trying to figure out our curtains. I did end up going with these ones from Base Game in a good majority of the house. They just have so many nice swatches, and I like how simple they were. And of course, there's a lot of color there. Bringing in one of the new rugs, and then grabbing a Base Game table and chairs to put in the kitchen. There is no formal dining room in this house. I didn't really have the space for it. I could, I suppose, turn the office into that, but I just felt like for the layout that I had figured out, this was the best way to go ahead and use that space. So if you would like to have a dining room, you can definitely change that up. And speaking of which, if you would like to download this build, it is available right now on the Sims 4 gallery. You can find it under my EA ID, which is Gryphi, Gryphi. You can also find it under the hashtag Gryphi, and that information will also be in the description down below as well. So right now I'm working on the entryway. I really wanted to bring in some more of this really beautiful wood color from the front door. So I am using this gorgeous side table from Growing Together and decorating all around it. The mirror above that is also from Lovestruck, and I use it quite a few times in this build. It's very not fun though. And the reason I say that is if you don't have the tool mod, this thing is going to be placing very high up on the wall. It's very annoying. And it makes no sense because your Sims won't really be able to see themselves in it, but I think it is such a pretty mirror, so I've been using the tool mod to lower it down on the wall. I really hope someday they make it so you can just move mirrors wherever you'd like them, and they don't have to be at a certain height on the wall. Like, it doesn't make any sense. We can move the paintings no matter where they are, so I really hope that's something that can be done in the future, but until then, I will be using the tool mod to do that, and like I've been saying in the last few videos, that tool tips video is coming very, very soon. I'm very excited to post that, so be on the lookouts. But anyway, this is the living room. I end up using some couches from Base Game and a coffee table that's actually from the Book Nook kit. I thought it was really cute because it's sort of more modern, and I like having a mixture of styles in my houses. I'm also using a fireplace from Jungle Adventure. I think this fireplace is so beautiful, and I thought it worked so nicely in this house. Technically, it's supposed to be an outdoor fireplace, so ignore that. But I think it looks really cute there. And then I'm just figuring out our little TV area over here. I put a plant over by the TV, a nice lamp. And I will be getting a tapestry on the wall as well in a little while. But first, I'm working on a gallery wall. And I did cut out a ton of footage of trying to figure this out because it took me a very long time. It felt like no matter what I did, it looked so clunky. But I figured it out in the end. And the other swatch of that painting I had mentioned in the kitchen is the fruit version that is above the couch. And then I'm just getting a couple more paintings in here and the Jungle Adventure mirror, which is so beautiful. And then we are heading on into the bathroom. So this is the tile both on the floor and on the walls that the kitchen is going to have. And so are all of the other bathrooms. And I actually show all three of them to an extent in this build. I don't normally do that, but since I had imagined a pretty a pretty large family here, and there were some other needs, such as there's an infant in this house, so I wanted to make sure we had a bathtub. I wanted to show them on camera, and I'm glad I did that because while I was doing that, I realized I didn't have a bathtub, so I had to move things around a little bit. So you'll see that when we get to it, but right now I'm adding a lot of this dark blue accent wall, which I think looks so pretty. I'm so glad that I did that. I feel like it just really helps to add some color to the space. Everything was feeling a little bit washed out and beige, so I enjoyed adding this color in here, and yeah, the office is coming together pretty nicely. It's the room that you go through to get to the backyard, but I feel like this was just a good use of the space instead of making it a regular mud room. So that is what I did. And then getting a corkboard over here with all sorts of postcards, another place to sit, some more paintings on the walls, and that should be pretty much it for that room. And then we're moving on into the garage. I added so many scuffs on the wall here. I was thinking I was just going to make it really torn apart and like gross, but I decided not to do that in the end. There are a couple that I keep, but it started off with so many, and I just decided that it was a little bit too much. I think it's pretty realistic for your garage to be a little bit dirty, and so that's why I wanted to do that. So I do keep some of them. I have the heart bed in here, which I thought was quite fun, especially now that we have the full functioning version of the heart bed in The Sims 4 now, and it came with the pack that this world came with. I thought it was kind of a nice nod to that. And then here are the new weight machines and a couple of posters on the walls. And I also put an old armchair in here. Just grabbed a bunch of like decor from the Basement Treasures kit. And I also added laundry machines in here. But I'm just realizing I don't think I added a hamper. So that's going to be something you want to add to this build if you grab it, because otherwise your Sims laundry is just going to go absolutely everywhere, and that is not fun. So we are upstairs now working on the bathroom that is for all of the kids' rooms. There is also going to be an ensuite for the primary, but this is the bigger of the bathrooms up here. And it has a standing shower, a sink, toilet. I am using the new like custom shower tour from Lovestruck because I think it's really cool. And I'm probably going to continue overusing it for a little while. That tends to be the case, but I feel like my favorite shower is always going to be the one from Growing Together. It's just so pretty. And then this is the primary bedroom bathroom, their ensuite, and this is where I'm trying to figure out how to fit a tub in here because I just wanted to make sure that the infant could take a bath, the toddler could take a bath. So I end up having a like cube shower in here, a one tile shower, so that way I could have a bathtub as well. The shower I chose, I believe, is from Seasons. I think it's quite nice. And yeah, I just got a couple of decor pieces over here. I thought having the rubber ducky would be cute and a little nod to the fact that this is where the baby is going to take their baths. So I thought that that made a lot of sense that it would be in the ensuite to the primary, which we are working on now. It ends up being very blue like the rest of the house. I had a problem with adding blue absolutely everywhere. A couple of the bedrooms are not blue, but some of them are, including this one and the nursery. And I just realized we're like halfway through the video and I haven't mentioned, other than the fact that there's an infant in this house who lives here. So I was imagining there was a couple who has 5 kids. There are 2 teenagers, 2 kids, and an infant. So pretty big family. I wanted to make sure to include lots of activities for them. So outside there are a lot of fun things to do, a little bit more focused on the summer months since that is where I am. Well, I'm not in summer. It is summer here where I live in the Northern Hemisphere. So I tend to want to build things that are in the same season as I am currently in. So a lot of the outdoor activities are more focused on that, like the pool, and I believe I add sprinklers in the backyard as well, which is quite fun. And there ends up being plenty of toys and stuff in this house for the kids. This is going to be the infant's room though, and I went all out with decals. These little fish and like sea decals that I have here, I forgot they existed, and as soon as I remembered, I was like, yes, that is the theme of this bedroom. So I was imagining this was a little boy's room. I just had that in mind when I was decorating it. Not that little boys' rooms have to be blue. I just loved the idea of like a little sea room, if that makes sense. It's all like ocean critters and just like things that live in water, and I love how it came out. It's like a mural up above the crib. I was actually kind of imagining that 4 of the 5 kids in this house were girls, and they had one unexpected baby a little bit later, and it was a little boy. And so I thought that that was kind of fun, and I had a blast coming up with the ideas for the different rooms, because I feel like I always have the same things in mind. If I have 2 kids in a room and they're twins, they're always boys. I don't know why that is. Or they are always having the same bedding. So I tried to switch it up a little bit in this house. I hope you enjoy it. I've been trying to get a little bit out of my comfort zone, and it's been nice. And actually, speaking of that, I have said how I really wished that the world here of Ciudad Enamorada came with apartments. However, it's really cool that we're able to now create apartments for rent on penthouse lots. So I did start working on a apartment building on one of the penthouse lots. I think I'm going to upload just the exterior as a video, and then the different apartments will be separate videos on their own. So keep an eye on the channel for that. I'm hoping that'll be posted sometime soon. And of course, if you have any ideas for concepts for the interiors of the apartments, they're all going to be relatively small. I think 1 or 2 bedrooms. So keep that in mind. But I would love some suggestions on what to do for those. I also have some fun ideas I want to do for apartments in general, but I don't think I want them to be part of that series. I think I want them to be like one-off apartments in the ones either in San Myshuno or Evergreen Harbor. So lots of ideas. And also, I'm going to be sometime soon starting to do some pre-recording because next month is TwitchCon. So I'm going to be going to San Diego. So I want to make sure I have content going up while I'm gone. So any ideas you have, just leave them. And I will probably get to a good chunk of them as I'm going to be recording so much over the next couple of weeks. And I'm really excited about it. I'm also just really excited for TwitchCon and getting to see some of my friends because all of us Simmers are good friends and none of us live near each other, so we only get to see each other like once or twice a year, and it should be a good time. I'm really looking forward to it. But anyway, this room is coming together pretty quickly. It's a very strong pink and orange color scheme. I really leaned into it, and I thought it was really fun. I was kind of imagining that this daughter and the last bedroom we decorate, which you'll see in a little while, it's a very opposite aesthetic to this. It's pretty much all black. I was thinking that these two sisters have very opposite aesthetics, but the same interests. So they're both really into music and like started a band together, but they are so opposite in the way they dress. That was kind of the idea. And so this sim has a guitar and the other sim has a keyboard. And I just thought it was a really cute idea. I don't do that very often. I feel like whenever I have a sim that's into a specific interest, I have like one color scheme in mind for that. So I tried to play around with that a little bit more, and I did that in here as well. So this is going to be the twin kids room, and it's very pastel. It's like pinks, yellows, and mint in this room, which is, again, a color scheme I don't feel like I ever use. They have a lot of toys in here, and I was kind of imagining that one of these Sims is really into sports, specifically soccer. So you can see I placed down this soccer lamp here, and I also thought about putting these arts and crafts somewhere in this room. I ended up getting rid of them in the end because it felt like this room leaned a little bit older than what I thought those crafts were, because I feel like kid is such a wide scope of age. And I was thinking that these were kids that were closer to the side of being teenagers, not like very, very young. I don't know, somewhere in there. So I do get rid of that artwork, but I did imagine that the sim that wasn't into sports was more into art. So I do have that, but there's also just like posters of all kinds of different interests in here because I feel like as a kid, you're really experimenting and trying to figure out what your interests are. And so you're going to have all sorts of stuff in your space. There's going to be a lot of color. You're going to have stuff from school. You're going to have things that you're experimenting with like interest wise. And so I just really wanted to represent that in the space, but I also did like the idea that one of them was into arts and one was into soccer. So this is that final teenager bedroom that I had mentioned before. This sim is like besties with their sister that has the pink room, and it's a very different aesthetic in here. But I loved the idea of them having the same interest and being really close. I just think that's a really fun idea. So I did grab the keyboard over here and this little dresser, which is actually from Parenthood. I really like this dresser. They both have record players and lots of artwork on the walls. I thought that this piece from High School Years was actually really fun. It's like a angel and devil kitty with some cat food. I think it's probably an ad for cat food. It's like on one of the buildings in the world of Copperdale. But I thought the idea that maybe the sim found it and just thought it was really cool artwork and they brought it home. Like it was an ad, but they were like, I need to hang that up above my keyboard. So that's what I did with that. And then got lots of other posters in here and some clutter on the floor. So it looks a little bit more messy. I did end up using a lot of the posters from the Werewolves pack. They are so useful for teenagers' rooms. I just think they are so nice. I love the posters and actually a lot of the decor from Werewolves. It's very useful. I also added some of these My Sims dolls up on top of the desk here. I thought that they were a cute collectible and fit the aesthetic of the room. And then we're just getting some more posters over here. And that should be the majority of the rest of this room. I did add a lot of decor in here, but I didn't feel like it was too over the top. It was also really interesting trying to figure out this color scheme with the fact that the floor is like a red tone tile. I wanted to make sure that it didn't feel like it was clashing, but I felt like it came out okay in the end. But now we're back out front and I'm doing those changes that I had mentioned earlier of changing the flower boxes and adding some more flowers out front in some really pretty vases. And then also adding some greenery over on the side of this build because it's so flat over on the left side. And just fixing that up and getting some more flower boxes. And actually, one thing that I think is really cool that just happened, I'm assuming yesterday or today, I'm not sure when the Sims 4 update was, but there was a new update for the game. And one of the things they fixed in it, I know there was a bunch of like massive fixes, but they changed the way that this law uploads. Every other time I've uploaded this to my library to upload it to the gallery, this was not the front of the lot, even though this is clearly the front of the lot. But they fixed it, so this will be uploaded appropriately and look correct and not just be a weird side view of the lot, and I'm really excited about that. So that was in the latest update, which is quite cool. And yeah, I'm just getting some more flowers out here, lots of the stuff from Shaliva Objects, and I also got some overgrown grass because I just think that adds some realism to a house, and I also really enjoyed adding the sunflowers, both in the front and in the backyard. They were a nice pop of color, and I don't use them that often, so that was nice. And of course, adding some more of these. I'm not really sure what those flowers are called, but they're all over the world and I think they're really pretty. So I added that. I also decided to add a pool in this backyard. And of course, it's a rounded pool. I haven't used these that much yet, but I'm so happy to have them. So I thought that we had plenty of space back here for a pool. So I would use one of those. Got some more plants over here as well. And I realized that these curtains were hanging down through the floor, so I just used the tool mod really quick to raise those up. And then we are going to be painting the inside of the pool to match the same tile that I have around it, which is once again the same tile that is throughout the interior of the build. I used a ladder in the pool, which is actually from the Riviera Retreat kit. Of course, got some pool loungers. This rock is also from that kit. I think it's so cool to have like a little waterfall going into the pool. I think it looks really pretty. And this picnic table is also from Lovestruck. I thought it was gorgeous. I loved the colors on it and the tiles. It was just perfect for this space. And of course, I added an umbrella on top of it as well. That umbrella is from Shaliva Objects with the My Wedding Stories game pack. So yeah, just adding a few more things in the backyard. I do end up getting a swing set as well as some monkey bars and a toddler pool and a sprinkler. So there's lots of activities out here for your Sims to enjoy in the warmer months. And that's pretty much it for this video. I really hope you enjoyed it. If you did, make sure you give this video a big thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel if you'd like to see more, and click that bell to be notified when I upload. Thank you so very much for watching. Please enjoy the screenshots, and I will see you all in the next one. Bye, everyone.